I posted the sign in. Sign in. If you do not have a Hebrew name, sign in. So I know, who's watching the class, who's not. We're going to go ahead and get started. All right. I'm Officer Bun. I'm joined here. Officer Malakia. All right. Officer Malakia in the building. We got Officer Thamayam in the building. Right. We got Officer Barzal Rakah in the building. All right. This is what's going down here. We're going to go into it. World War III. Dun, dun, dun. Right? Let's get it on. Remember that Al Green? Let's get it on. And we're not talking about you and your woman. We're talking about the nations.
Right.
Let's gather all nations. Isn't that the Christian church? Isn't that what they're focused on? Mm-hmm. All nations. You brothers are wrong. All nations will get together. All nations. All nations will come together. They'll come together in bloodshed. They'll come together with ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. I got a question for the blacks, the Hispanics, and Native American Indians, though. Are you going to live through it? Right? Everybody's posting World War III, Iran. I don't want to get drafted. What are they going to do? Who are they going to hit? Are you going to live through it?
Right.
We're going to go into scriptures to show you how to preserve your life. All right? And how to save your life, how to preserve your life, is to lose it. That's what Christ said. You got to lose your life. What is our life right now in Canada? Getting high, going to brothels, acting like a fool on New Year's, when New Year's has nothing to do with the Bible, God, or anything, except for Satan and the gods of our slave masters. Go ahead, Thamayam.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so that's what it is. That's what it is, and that's what it's about. All right. Any questions? Go ahead and type them in. Any questions? Type them in. All right. Press 1 if you can see in here. I need ones. I need ones. If you can see in here, I'm going to go ahead to YouTube. ISUPK Canada. All right. Ones if you can see. One person watching. No sweat.
Like, sir, if I might.
Go ahead, Thamayam.
What accounts you on Facebook?
Canada, ISUPK Canada. Like and share ISUPK Canada live. All right, live here on the topic of this class is World War III is salvation for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians should use the Third World War to benefit themselves, and I'll show you how it will. All right. First, let me get Jacob and Esau real quick. Take me to Genesis 25. Yeah, Malakia stepped out. All right, you have questions, type them in. Type in your questions. Make sure you like this, share this, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to share it myself. Go ahead.
If I could, you go live on Twitter, on
Facebook, and I'll show you. Well, we're on Periscope, so it should go to my Twitter. Meaning, if you go to ISUPK Canada on Twitter, you should see this. You should. Bar. All right. Give me Genesis 25th chapter.
Oh, God, sir. Genesis chapter 25.
Give me start me with Jacob and Esau's story. Sister, I had a question about it.
So start at 21.
Yeah, that's one.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife.
Read on verse 20.
Verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife.
Mm-hmm. So he took Rebekah to wife. All right. They didn't have a church and bells and a pastor. They had themselves, and a bed. All right. Isaac and Rebekah. You can go to Genesis, the 24th chapter and the 67th verse to see that sex equals marriage. All right. Go ahead.
Come, sir. The daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. Verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
Hold on, he entreated the Lord. So what did Isaac do? Did he go to televangelist Joel Osteen? Did he go to TD Jakes, Mr. Jakes, on that silly radio, that silly TV show he has, where he brings in famous people and gives them worse marriage counsel than Ronald McDonald? Is that what they did? Let's see. We'll find out what they did. Get me Holy Writ. Give me 1 Samuel 9:9. When it says they entreated the Lord, what did they do? We're going to show you.
Come on, sir. First Samuel 9:9.
Yeah.
1 Samuel chapter 9 verse 9.
Go ahead.
Before a time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of the Most High.
Before time in Israel.
When a man went to inquire of the Most High.
Before time in Israel. Before time. Before this. Excuse me, please. You want God? You go and talk to God yourself. Televangelist Michael Rochebay. Buy my holy oil, 1995 holy oil. You are directly connected to God. God wants to talk to you. Before that, Negro, Latino, Native American, Indian. Read on.
Thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer.
To who?
To the seer.
TD Jakes.
To the seer.
The televangelist.
To the seer.
To grandma.
To the seer.
To the seer. Black man, Hispanic, Native American, Indian, man and woman. If you want to inquire about God, now if you want to inquire about cars, if you want to inquire about, mathematics, you want to inquire about engineering, you want to inquire about circuits, you want to inquire about computers, right? You want to inquire about metalwork, metallurgy, right? Being a smith, being a craftsman, you go to a craftsman, you go to a teacher, you go to a professor. If you want to inquire about God, the Lord, you come to a seer, a man that knows a seer, one of the most high seers. Remember, these people want to inquire of the Lord, not inquire of the drug dealer, right? Not inquire of Snoop Doggy Dogg or whatever new rapper is out. But to inquire of the Lord, you have to come to a seer of the Lord. Read on.
Come. For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer.
He that is now called a prophet was before called a seer. If you want to learn about the Most High, if you want to inquire about the Lord, you go to a prophet, you go to a seer. So what did Isaac and Rebekah do when they inquired of the Lord? They went to a prophet. They got real help, which is what you do. If you have an illness, you should go to the doctor, right? If your car is broken down, you're going to take it to a mechanic, someone who is an expert in building cars. Well, if you would like to inquire about the Lord, the Most High, the one you call God, you would go inquire of a prophet. And that's what they did. They were wise. They didn't try and go search ancient Google. What scriptures can I use to study myself to find out why my wife is in pain? They didn't do that. They went to a prophet. Okay? And that's what we should do as blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Like our phones, our Canadian phones should be ringing off the hook. This side of Canada. Hello, where you calling from? Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, right? Halifax. We should be getting calls everywhere. Go ahead.
So, Slugger, sir, can we use Amos 3:7 for what you just said?
Pull it.
Come, sir.
All right.
Amos chapter 3, verse 7.
Go ahead.
Surely the Lord will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets.
The Lord, he'll reveal his secrets to his servants, the prophets. There are men that are chosen out of Israel to do a job, a very particular job. That job is to prophesy. Not every man was given that title, was given that job. All right? And that doesn't make us any better than any other Israelite. But the Lord had chosen us to do a job that is very special. And very old. So this is a very old profession. So what Isaac and Rebekah did was they went to inquire of the prophets. Is that insane? No. You had prophets back then. You had Melchizedek. Remember that? King of righteousness? The priest of righteousness? He was around back then. You had Abraham, etc. So you had men that knew about the truth even before Israel. All right? But once Israel was born, the chosen bloodline was his seed. His seed on his father's side. All right? So take me back to Isaac and Rebekah. Go back to Genesis 25 and 20.
Come on, sir. Genesis chapter 25, verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife.
And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife. Continue.
The daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister to Laban the Syrian.
Padan Aram.
No
problem. She was related to Isaac. Is that shocking? No. Every black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian is your distant cousin. We all come from Jacob. Continue reading.
Verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife.
Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife. He went to a prophet. Continue.
Because she was barren.
Because she was barren. Read on.
And the Most High entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
And Rebekah, his wife, conceived. Keep reading.
And the children struggled together within her.
Go ahead.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
If it be so, why am I thus? She was in pain, right? She was worried. Is this a fairy tale? The Christian church makes the Bible a fairy tale book? No. You've ever been around a sister or your mother, aunt, right? A woman in your family. Have you ever seen her when she's pregnant? She's worrying, right? Constantly worried. What if I lose the baby? Oh, I can't have this. I can't have that. Ooh, this hurts. What if the baby's coming? A woman is constantly worried when she's pregnant. Rebekah was no different. Keep reading.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
She went to inquire of the Lord. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
So when it says the Lord said unto her, the Lord spoke through the seer. All right. The Lord spoke through the seer. The seer did not speak his own words like T.D. Jakes. He's speaking his own words. That's what he thinks. Okay. Creflo Dollar is speaking his own words. You got him on YouTube. Remember that the other day? He's on YouTube saying that Satan wants you to keep the law. Those are his own words. That's something he thought of. That is not in the Bible. It's not. Okay, he's absolutely lying. That's something that he thought of. All right, but a seer would tell you something the Lord would say. The Lord established the law, statutes, and commandments. A seer would tell you to not eat pork. A seer would tell you not to lay down with the other nations. A seer would tell you, don't join all nations in Canada. We should be separate. And we shouldn't go and buy recreational weed. We shouldn't go into brothels, etc. Read on.
Come. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations are in thy womb. 2 nations. These two are fraternal twins. They're not biological twins. We'll show you that. But they're fraternal twins, right? The Lord saw fit for them to be split up as 2 different nations. Again, this isn't shocking either. You have a bunch of critics that say, "Oh, how could white people come from black people? Or how could white people and black people be related?" First of all, you got scientists that say genetically African Americans, meaning so-called black people here in America, brought here from slavery, along with the West Indians, are 99.9% identical genetically to the Caucasians. You can go and look this up. That scientists will say black people are closer genetically to white people than to Africans. You can go and look that up. Okay? So we always love in the ISUBK to bring out science that proves the supremacy of the scriptures.
Right.
That's what it says in 1 Timothy. Avoid science falsely called. Okay? What I just quoted was real science, not science falsely called. All right? These were 2 nations that were in her womb. Continue reading.
And 2 manner of people.
And two manner of people. One manner of people does things this way. Another manner of people likes it this way. One manner of people fries chicken, right? Makes a good roti. And another manner of people doesn't season their chicken, right? and wears t-shirts and shorts when it's freezing cold in Montreal. Two manner of people. Two different types of people. One group of people jump out of buildings and blow their heads off when they reach financial crisis. Another group of people make rap songs when they reach financial crisis. And they make poetry and they dance to show their frustration. To show their poverty, to show their way of life. Read on.
And two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Shall be separated from thy bowels. A sister asked a question about Esau's birthright. I'm briefly going through the story of Jacob and Esau. There's many other scriptures in the Bible about it. But to sum it up, these are two different types of people. Europeans in Canada and Negroes and First Nations in Canada are two different people, which is why they can't get along. Which is why you'll constantly have nothing but war, strife, and RCMP, Canadian Mounties with guns pointed at the Native Americans. Because these are two different manner of people. That idea of all nations coming together is ridiculous.
Right.
Do animal species, do they get along? If you put wildebeest in a cage with lions, what's going to happen? The lions are going to eat the wildebeest. It's not going to be peace. You put crocodiles and an antelope in the same area, the crocodile is going to eat the antelope. Well, that's what's going on. You've been put in a cage with a beast, and he is eating you alive in Canada. Go ahead and check the news where they're racially profiling indigenous shoppers. We're going to tell you something today. That day of indigenous profiling, of racial profiling, is coming to an end. You understand? After World War III, when the smoke clears, the First Nations are going to rule the planet Earth. Mark these words. Because just as they called Noah crazy? Noah was building that ship for 80 years. You know how many times they must have called him crazy? Man, you crazy. Noah, he's drunk. Don't worry, he must be drunk. Don't worry about him. Noah, there's no water here. Remember, he was building it on dry land. There's no water here. What an idiot. And then one day, split. Raining? It doesn't rain here that often. Blip, blip, blip. It said it rained like the Most High opened the firmament and let water pour in from outer space and from underground. That's how much it rained. Water coming up from the earth, coming from everywhere. It was raining sideways. You get my point? You ever been in some sideways rain? Where it's raining so much, the rain's hitting you from the side? That's what happened, but it didn't stop. It went on for 40 days and 40 nights. And in the same manner, we are warning sternly the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians in Canada to come out of the world. Put the pipe down, put the vape down, get out of the brothels, get away from all these other nations that are doing nothing but poisoning you with New Year's and Christmas and all these other vain holidays. Get out. Was that a movie? Get Out?
Yeah.
Get out. Okay? Because the Most High is going to destroy sinners. Those that go against His orders, His commands. I deviated a little bit. Keep going in Jacob and Esau. If you have questions, type the questions in. Type your questions in. Read on.
Come. Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Oh, Benat G, no sweat. Yeah, that boot kiss on Dungeons and Yans was heavy. Yeah. Two nations and two manner of people. Read on.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
No, didn't Fox News just release an article saying black people are genetically stronger than white people? Didn't they say that? They did say that. That was an article that came out. Again, validating the supremacy of the scriptures. That's science, right? They say that, again, the Bible isn't scientific. It is scientific. One shall be stronger than the other. We all know who's stronger than the other. Through the through the Olympics, to track and field, wrestling, weightlifting, bodybuilding, singing, engineering, mathematics, finance. Many things in the United States and within Canada were started by black people. One of the first so-called cowboys in Canada was a black man. His name was John Ware. He was living up in Alberta. All right, They said one day lightning struck one of his caravans. You know, they had those old, like Oklahoma, the Sooners. One of those caravan that was pulled by horses. It said lightning struck it and killed the horses. And in the middle of Canada, lightning struck it, killed the horses, He was with his, woman he wanted to marry and their family. He got out, pulled the damn caravan home. That's a story. 1800s. He was a so-called slave down, I think, in Tennessee, Mississippi, one of those states, but he came up to Canada. John Ware. That's where you get cowboys in Canada from, him. And Nat Love and the other brothers down in the States, southwestern United States. We're stronger than them in all things. Don't just minimize it to sports either. They love to say that, oh, you're a basketball player. No, we beat them in engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical, physics, all that. Charles Darwin, there's an article that came out that Charles Darwin was trained by a Guyanese slave. You know that? Remember the cat Charles Darwin came up with the theory of evolution and all that? He was trained by a Guyanese slave. I never heard that. Just heard about it a few weeks ago. A Guyanese slave that was an expert in tracking birds showed him the technique and how to process the dead animals and how to identify them. Go ahead, Tommy. I'm still like it.
Charles Darwin, the one came up with the Big Bang Theory?
No, that was I want to say it was Einstein. Charles Darwin came to the theory of evolution. He's the guy that said that he's the guy that's credited with starting the idea that humans came from monkeys, which is a lie. The scriptures say one flesh, all manner of flesh is not the same flesh, meaning we don't have the same flesh as monkeys. If we did, we could just be monkeys. Our flesh is different. All right, we can't go and swim in the ocean. We can't go and swim and keep up with the fish because we're not fish. We have different flesh. Our bodies are different. All right? But let's read on Jacob and Esau.
Come. And the elder shall serve the younger.
The elder shall serve the younger. They will serve us. The RCMP will serve the First Nations. Canadian government will be the slaves of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians because the Most High said it. We're citing text, we're citing fact, okay? There's nothing bigoted about it, nothing racist about it. We're showing you facts in the Bible that's been hidden from the world for thousands of years, but is now being brought back out to light. All right? Keep reading.
Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled.
Meaning she was about to give birth. Go ahead.
Behold, there were twins in her womb.
There were twins in her womb. Go ahead.
And the first came out red all over, like in hairy garment.
First came out red all over like a hairy garment. Continue.
And they called his name Esau.
They called his name what?
Esau.
They called his name what?
Esau.
Esau. Aishawa in the Hebrew. Aishawa means wasted away as he. Aisha, that root means wasted away or destroyed. And the wa at the end, the suffix, is I think it's a possessive adjective that means his. Right, or he is. What is wasted away? What's wasted away is the thing that makes your skin brown. Everyone on earth has brown skin. I don't care who you're looking at. Puerto Ricans, brown skin. Negro, brown skin, different shades of brown. The Japanese, brown skin. The Chinese, you see, a lot of the Chinese are light skinned. They got a tinge of yellow in them. And you got dark skinned Chinese, like the so-called Vietnamese, right? Cambodians. Yeah, they're dark skinned and light skinned Chinese. They all have brown skin. But then you got that one guy in the earth. He's the oddball. He's the odd man out. Continue reading. I want to answer the sister's question so that we can get into World War III. Go ahead.
Verse 26.
Go ahead.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
His hand took hold on Esau's heel. This is a symbol of what's to come. The precept is in 2 Ezra 6 and 9, around that region. You can read the symbolism behind Jacob taking hold of Esau's heel. All right? We'll sum it up for you. On the heels of Esau's kingdom, Jacob's kingdom is going to be ruled. While Canada is ruling, while Great Britain is ruling, while the United States is ruling, there is a kingdom being built on this earth that will never be destroyed. All right? That kingdom is the kingdom of what you know of as the kingdom of heaven or the nation of Israel. It's being built. It's being built all over the earth. Men and women are being trained on how to live in that kingdom here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Keep reading.
And his name was called Jacob.
His name was called Jacob. Yaquab, supplanter. Go ahead.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him.
Skip down to when Esau sold his birthright.
Oh, God. Okay, verse 28. And Isaac, it's like verse 29. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
Sell me this day thy what?
Thy birthright.
Sell me this day thy birthright. Esau came in what? He was hungry, right?
Oh God.
I pray thee, give me that red pottage. Let's stop there for the sister's question. Esau is and has always been very concerned about his flesh, about how he feels. That's why there are brothels in Canada, because they love to have their flesh satisfied. They're like babies. Babies have to feel good, and if a baby doesn't feel good, he or she is going to let you know about it. That's Esau. That's the man that runs Canada. A giant baby runs the earth. Children run the earth. That's in the Bible. They're like children. When they don't get their way, they whine and complain. Just like Esau. That's why there's brothels in Canada, smoke shops in Canada, vape shops in Canada, recreational weed in Canada, and now coming to the United States, because their main concern is their flesh and pleasing their flesh. All right? That's why these holidays are so popular as well. All these holidays are about the worship of yourself, which is satanic. The Lord's holidays in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, were always about serving Him and thanking Him for the air that you breathe, the life that you have, the shelter, etc. And for Him choosing you as His chosen people. Read on.
Oh God. Verse 32. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die.
He said, I'm about to die. You know how Esau is. He's about to die if he doesn't go to a brothel on Friday night. Go ahead, tell me else.
It's like I said, Esau got the spirit of a crackhead. He gotta have it right.
Yeah, he gotta have it right. Got that on. Just needs to be pleasured. Now, right now. He can't wait for what? He can't wait a little bit. Right? Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians are just like Esau. Can't wait a little bit. Right? High school come around, man, I don't want to do this. I want to go sell drugs, because we can't wait a little bit.
Right.
We can't go through the pain of working for something that will be worthwhile later. Putting in investments for things that are worthwhile later. We want it right now, which is why we're in Canada. We're in Toronto selling drugs, because we want what? Fast money, right? We want to live fast and die young. That's from Esau. Right. That's not West Indian culture. That's not from Jamaica. West Indian in Canada and the GTA region. That's not from Haiti. That's not from South America, so-called Negro, so-called Latino. That is from France. That's from Napoleon. That lifestyle. You want to go and gobble up the earth, just like Napoleon did, just like Christopher Columbus did. Go ahead.
It's like if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does that go right along with that verse about the serpent where he'll go on his belly? Yeah,
everything. Well, sort of everything. Meaning, when it says he'll go about his belly, everything he'll get through low down, dirty means. In order to get oil, he's got to destroy and murder 3 million Arabs. You get my point? In order to get cheap oil. In order to get diamonds, he's got to use African slave labor, Hamite slave labor to go and get it. In order to build a pipeline in Canada, he's got to point sniper rifles at Native Indians. That's what it means when it says the serpent shall go forth upon his belly. Everything he'll get through low down and dirty means. Treacherously. So that's what he did. Esau sold his birthright for a pot of meat. That's what he did to the sister that asked that question. She asked another question, Kayla, I'm going to get your question after this one. I got another one. What is the ISUBK stance on nuclear preparation? Give me Isaiah 26 and 20. All right? We're going to get you the ISUBK stance on nuclear preparation. And I'll get it. We'll get you another scripture on nuclear preparation. Second Ezra, the 15th chapter on nuclear preparation. All right. And Malaki, can you get me no weapon formed against thee shall prosper? What scripture do you have?
Isaiah chapter 26, verse 20.
Isaiah 26 and 20.
Isaiah chapter 26, verse 20.
Go ahead.
Come, my people.
Come, my people. Who are the Lord's people? Not everyone. The First Nations are the Lord's people. The Lord's talking to the First Nations. Come here. Come here, First Nations. The Lord's talking to the West Indians. Come here, brethren. Right? Lord's talking to the Haitians. Sac passe. Come on over here. Lord's talking to the so-called American Negro, the Latinos. Come here. Vámonos. Read on.
Come, my people.
Come, my people. Go ahead.
Enter down into thy chambers.
Enter down to thy what?
Chambers.
To thy chambers. Go ahead.
And shut thy doors.
Shut thy doors. Go into these chambers and shut your doors. Go ahead.
About thee.
About thee. Go ahead.
Hide thyself as it were for a little moment.
Hide thyself as it were for a little moment. Continue.
Until the indignation be overpassed.
Till the indignation be overpassed. To the viewer that asked this question, the indignation, the wrath of the Lord is going to be summed up in thermonuclear warfare. You can read about that, I believe, in Zechariah, the 14th chapter and the 12th verse. All right. The Lord's wrath and indignation will be shown in the thermonuclear war, which is coming, and in the return of the one the world calls Christ, Yahushua. The Most High is going to show his wrath. And during his wrath, he's telling his people, come back. You can't come to him if you're on meth. You can't come to him if you're smoking weed. You can't come to him if you got the sludge from brothels on you. All right? You can't come to the Most High like that. That's not going to work. We got to come correct. Have you heard that term before? Come correct. You got to come correct. Step correct. Negroes, First Nations, and Latinos need to come correct to the Most High. And if we do that, we'll be able to hide in chambers, as it were, for a moment, from the indignation of the Lord, the thermonuclear war. What is the Lord's chambers? What are the things that the Lord uses to house things, to move around, to transport things? What the world calls the unidentified flying objects, the flying saucers. The Lord had, to sum up the answer, the Lord has an air force and what the world calls the rapture, right? You've heard of the rapture. I think it's, what scripture they use? 1 Thessalonians 4 and 12. We should be caught up in the air. Before say again? Yeah, we shall be caught up. Before the end of this world, meaning in the climax of World War III, which is coming, which is soon here, which is why if you got a little weed smoking problem, you smoke weed a little bit, you can put that nonsense away. We're going to show you scripture. Those that are not faithful, that don't stick to what is taught here, the law, statutes, and commandments, are not going to live.
Right.
Not going to live. So we are warning you. But to stick to your question, in what they call the rapture, right? What it actually is before the climax of the Third World War, which is coming, the Lord will send his chariots to pick up blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians that are worthy of getting on. Righteous blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians that applied the Bible and will do the work of the Most High. They'll be taken up in the chariots and they'll be hidden. Will we see the nuclear weapons go off or not? Or those that make it? Will they see the nuclear weapons go off, etc.? It doesn't say that. Okay? Nuclear preparedness be summed up in one word: righteousness. To the viewer that asked that question. Okay? Those cats that are buying bunkers to hide in those bunkers, he's gonna, after the nuclear smoke clears, there's gonna be a knock on the door. On that damn bunker. Open up. You're under arrest. A Haitian's going to be knocking on the door. Open up. You're under arrest. They're not going to answer. It's a Haitian, honey. No trespassing. Rack. The whole vault is going to be ripped off, and you're going to see what's going to look like the Thanos, Superman, standing at that damn door. Okay, we'll get that in a later class. Black, Hispanic, and Native American men that come correct will get supernatural power. That's in the Bible. All right? And so that door of that bunker is going to be ripped off, and they're going to be sternly asked to get out of the bunker and put your hands behind your back. You're going into slavery. All right? Thus saith the Most High. So nuclear preparedness is summed up in one word: righteousness. That's the ISBK stance on nuclear preparedness. We'll be taken up. Those that are righteous will be taken up and hid for a little while. Get me the scripture, other scriptures I asked for.
What others you asked for, sir?
I had something held in the Apocrypha.
I think one of them had got it. He gave to me.
Malaki, you have any scriptures held on,
You were saying no weapon.
yeah, you have it?
No.
Read.
Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17.
Uh-huh.
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper.
No weapon, not Iran. They were saying, supposing on the news that Iran has New York City in their sights. They don't have New York City in their sights. We'll tell you what's going to happen. We're seers and prophets. All right. What most likely is going to happen is the Iranians are going to attack Israel, the Israelis. Number one, that's an easy target. It's right there, right? It's not a far distance, and they are at odds with them as well. It would seem as if they would more want to push the Israelis into war rather than the United States. They don't. I looked up, compared the two militaries. On paper, Iran and America is very lopsided towards America. Iran doesn't have the firepower to keep up, particularly in the Navy or the Air Force. All right, they don't have a destroyer. Destroyer is a very large battleship that is built to destroy. All right, the big battleships you see with cannons. Iran doesn't even have one. They have a very small navy. Their air force is Soviet era. All right, so they probably will attack the Israelis. And when they attack the Israelis, they'll have Syria behind them. Remember Syria? Remember Bashir al-Assad? Once they attack Israel, the Arabs have been hating them since they got there. Remember, you had Abdul Nasser say, how did the Jews leave black and come back white? Those Arabs, they know the Jews are black. Muhammad knew that. The Arabs knew that, right? So more than likely they're going to attack Israel. Israelis. Then the Arabs are going to come in, and they're all going to be one, except for that coon Saudi Arabia. They up America's rear end. All right. Everybody except for Saudi Arabia is going to point their missiles at Israel. Israel is going to cry for help again to the world. America is going to come. When America comes, Russia has to come, because otherwise America is going to lay the smackdown on every. They're going to smack the teeth out of everybody there. Iran, the Arabs, they're all going to get the teeth smacked out of their mouth. Russia is going to have to act when America comes into the Middle East. Russia is then going to invade Saudi Arabia. When Russia invades Saudi Arabia, it's over. We're going to show you that. That's in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. All right. When Russia invades Saudi Arabia, you can pack your bags. All right. Because the world's over. The world's going to change. All right. So more scriptures on nuclear preparedness. Go ahead, Malachi. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. To the viewer that asks, no weapon. Not the nuclear bomb. Russia has a supersonic nuclear ICBM. ICBM is an intercontinental ballistic missile. Russia's travels faster than the speed of sound. Do you know what that means? You'll be going about your day, groceries. Come on, kids. Shing, shing, shing. Boom. That good nuclear sound. You should go listen to nuclear bomb strikes. It is beautiful. It is biblical. Good old. Before you even know what's going on, it's going off. It travels faster than you can hear it. That's what it means when it travels faster than the speed of sound. So, can you think a missile system could stop it?
No.
Hell no. There's nothing that can stop this weapon. And one of these weapons will destroy a state the size of Texas. One bomb. They launch it, Texas is gone. Gone. They launch it at France. France is gone. No more crap, stupid French chocolates. That is history. When they launch that missile, during that time will be taken up. Righteousness is a currency for life. All right. In this day and age, keep reading. No weapon formed against thee. Go ahead and lock it.
Oh God. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn.
Every tongue that shall rise against us in judgment. The black Hebrew Israelites are terrorists. They're extremists. We rose against them. That was some good free press, Malachi. I looked it up. Damn, we on Fox News. Hold on. NBC. Hold up. MSNBC. I'm good. We got news feeds everywhere. I go to Twitter. We're trending. It was excellent.
Right.
It was free press.
Every-
Every tongue that opens its mouth against us in judgment, we'll condemn it. We destroyed it. Go ahead.
This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord.
This is the heritage, right? This is what the servants of the Lord get. A heritage is what you get, what you have. This is what the servants of the Lord will have. No nuclear bomb, no regular gun. Can a regular gun kill you? Yeah. More people have been killed by the AK-47 than by a nuclear bomb. All right? So conventional weapons can kill you. Are we worried about those now, ISUBK? No. So to answer your question, righteousness is the currency. Now, literally, if there is a nuclear strike, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You were in, I think you said you were somewhere in the South. Your camp leader would have we have evacuation plans. All right, that's all that I'll say. That is pertinent to camp leaders only. We have evacuation plans, etc., when there are natural disasters and when there are artificial disasters, man-made. All right, and that's it. That's all you need to worry about. Other than that, it's always wise to have food, right? The scriptures bear that out. When ants in the summer, you can see ants in the summer marching in lines, right? They're carrying food. They're carrying it for when? The winter. You should do the same thing. It's good to stockpile, have, food and stuff on hand in case anything goes on. Trump wants to cut food stamps, etc. And you get the point. All right. Jacob and Esau covered. Preparedness covered. World War Trace. World War II. World War III. Let's get some scriptures on. Go ahead, tell me.
Okay, use Isaiah 54:16, sir.
Read.
Come on, sir. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire.
Yeah, you can use that for to show that the Lord did make nuclear weapons, put the spirit in the slave master, the so-called European, to make guns, AK-47, B-52 bomber, the new one, that new one. You saw that F-35? Whew, 8 computers in that sucker. 8 computers. That thing cost, I think, a few million, 100 million. I think it cost 15. I think I'm lowballing. I think that thing is like 15 million, one of those jets. 8 computers in it. Okay? It can fly and travel long distances at Mach speeds, faster than the speed of sound. Keep reading.
And that bringeth forth an instrument of his work.
Yeah, you can do that. Nuclear bomb makers were brought forth on this earth by the Lord. Yes, that's his indignation. Scriptures, World War III. Give me 2nd Ezra 15 and 3.
Come on, sir.
Yeah.
2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 3. Fear not the imaginations against thee.
Don't fear the imaginations against you. Let me tell you something. Slave master he's going to ramp up the murder of black people, the killing of Latinos, the killing of First Nations, etc. during this time. Those that aren't in the truth. Which is why we urge you, we beseech you to join the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, to put down the weed, the cigarettes, the brothels, come into the truth and knowledge of the Most High. The knowledge of the Most High is to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. Hold that. Kayala, you had a question, Salaki, about that. Your question was, a lot of First Nation people don't even believe in the Bible because of Reform Residential School. How are they to listen? They were brainwashed using the Bible. What happened, and this is a good question, what happened to the First Nations in the residential schools is no different than what happened to the Negro on the plantation. The Negro on the plantation was whipped, was indoctrinated with the Bible, was abused with the mistranslation of the Bible. Let's show you the scripture to answer that question. Get me my sheep hear my voice.
Come on, sir.
And then, Malaki, you give me John 14 and 16. Remember, it is not you that's chosen me, it's I that's chosen you.
So John 14 and 15.
I think it's 14 and 16, right? Just look up, you have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. Tell me, when you get the scripture, read it. Salakia.
Come concept.
The water.
Is it in Matthew, sir?
Yes, you can just search it. My sheep hear my voice. I always just Google it. I don't remember scriptures like that.
Okay, come concept.
Yeah, it's John 10 and 27. Tell me, Malaki, you have the scripture? Read.
John chapter 15, verse 16.
How are the Native American Indians going to overcome the abuse and the lie about the Bible? How are they going to overcome it? We'll find out. Read.
Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you.
You've not chosen me, but I have chosen you. The First Nations that Yahushua, so-called Negro, chooses, they'll be brought out of this world. And if they choose to hear that call, then they'll come on into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. They'll come out of the world. It's no different than the West Indians who are indoctrinated with the Bible, the Negroes who are beaten and indoctrinated with the Bible. Remember the slave master, the so-called Negro, he had the Bible. He was a devout Christian. But he would still come into the cabin, take your wife, and rape your wife. So the Negro has that same dilemma. They use the Bible to enslave us. Those that Christ calls to hear the truth about the Bible and to learn the truth about this, what the slave master did. The slave master did not teach the Bible in the Indian residential schools. Because if he did, the First Nations would know they're the tribe of Gad and that he is the devil.
Right.
Because that's what the Bible says. That's what the Bible says. The Bible calls Canada and their rulers and their cousins, the Europeans, the beast in Revelation. I think it's the 17th chapter, the 13th chapter, etc. They're the beast. The natives would know that. All right? The natives would know smoking meth is wrong. Coming out of the Indian residential schools. The natives would know not to commit suicide. Again, to seek counsel for it. And that the rainy days don't last forever. The sunny days don't last forever. They would know those things. We don't, because the slave master lied about the Bible and enslaved us and abused us. The point of the Indian residential schools was not to teach anything about the Bible. It was to whitewash the Native American. Okay? They cut their braids off, shaved their heads, gave them English names, John Smith, and Anthony, silly English names, John Smith, Anthony Jones, Sidney Peltier, right? And indoctrinated us with Christianity. All right? That's what he did. But in here, you're learning the truth about the Bible, and those that Christ calls, they'll hear his voice. Read it again.
God. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you.
You haven't chosen me, but I chose you. Those that Yahushua or Christ chooses, they'll be brought out of this world. Read on.
And ordained you.
And ordained you. He set us up to be priests. Remember, the Levites were chosen to be priests in the Old Testament. There were men that were chosen to do this job, and there are men in Winnipeg and Calgary, amongst the First Nations, that are chosen to do a job they would never imagine. They would never imagine traveling in Canada, traveling to different cities, teaching about the truth. They can't imagine it right now wherever they are. But the Lord is going to call them out of this world very, very soon. In Winnipeg, in Calgary, in Saskatoon, in Vancouver, in Edmonton, very, very soon. And they're going to live a life they couldn't even imagine right now. Read on.
Oh God. Then ye should go and bring forth fruit.
Then they're going to go, they should, and they will. They'll go and they'll bring forth fruit. They'll teach the truth to other First Nations. All right? And their families and their children. Continue reading.
and that your fruit should remain.
And their fruit, it'll remain. They'll remain. They'll endure until the end. Like Christ, Yahushua said to do. You give me the scripture, my sheep hear my voice, please.
God said, John chapter 10, verse 27. My sheep hear my voice.
My sheep, they hear my voice. Okay, so the sheep that Yahushua, the one you call Christ, called to come into the truth, they'll hear his voice. Read on.
And I know them.
And I know them. He knows them. He knows the First Nations. He doesn't know the Europeans. He didn't call them. They're not his sheep. The First Nations are sheep, gullible, and led everywhere. Led to meth, led to alcoholism, led to New Year's. Native Indians celebrating New Year's and Christmas is insane. We are sheep. We are sheep. We are the Lord's sheep, the Most High's sheep. And one day, very soon, we're going to be led to him. Read on.
And they follow me.
And they follow me. Continue.
And I give unto them eternal life.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall never perish. Neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand.
Go ahead.
My Father, which gave me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand.
No man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. So the First Nations that Yahushua chooses, nothing's going to steer them off of the truth of the Bible. Oh, they taught us that in residential schools. What are you doing? The sheep that Christ called, they're not going to hear that. Yeah, okay. The Bible calls the man in the Indian residential school the devil. The Bible says the Lord will wipe all tears from our eyes. Does Canada teach that? Does the RCMP teach that? No. They teach the sniper rifle to point it at you. All right? That's what they teach. So that's it on that. Any questions? Any other questions? If there are any other questions, type them in. All right? Actual questions, type your questions in. If you have questions, type them in. If you can hear and see, press 1. I need my ones. Uno. Right? Type them in. All right? So, World War III, 2nd Esdras 15 and 4. Please.
Okay. 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 4.
Go ahead.
For all the unfaithful should die in their unfaithfulness.
All the unfaithful, they're going to die in their unfaithfulness. Potheads are in big trouble now, in this day and age. The pimps and johns are in big trouble in this day and age. Whores, sexual deviants are in big trouble in this day and age. All the unfaithful, all those that don't do what the Most High said, that don't believe in the truth. How do you believe in the truth? By applying it. Those that don't do that, they're going to die in their unfaithfulness. Read on.
Verse 5. Behold, says the Most High, I will bring plagues upon the world. The sword, famine, death, and destruction.
Isn't he bringing the sword? You had rockets fired near the U.S. Embassy today. You had a general killed, Qasem Soleimani. Qasem Soleimani was the general of the so-called Quds Force, Quds. The Quds Force were a group of elite Iranian soldiers who took part in military intelligence activities all over the world. This guy was almost like the vice president. Every Iraqi president from 2006 to his death had to be approved by him. He approved every Iraqi president. Every Iraqi president. This is an Iranian general. Okay? They're not going to let this go unanswered. This is causing a downward spiral of violence, which will lead to the return of a Negro named Christ. Okay? Read on.
Verse 6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth.
See, he's going to bring sword. He's going to bring famine, starvation. He's going to bring plague. You're already seeing plagues of STDs, STIs, right? Plagues of AIDS. What's that good one? The bubonic plague. Look out for the bubonic plague making its reappearance. Okay? Every time they get one patient with a bubonic plague in the hospital, they freak out. It makes national news. Okay? Look out for the bubonic plague to come back. All right? And potheads don't have the antidote. Whores and whoremongers, pimps, and John don't have the antidote. But the righteous, they have the antidote. Daniel's 3 friends, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, were thrown in a fiery furnace. Conventional wisdom would tell you that they would burn to death. But the truth of the Most High wouldn't have it to be so. He said he'll protect his servants. The heritage of his servants is that no weapon formed against them will prosper. All right? And so 3 men were saved from fire. What's a little more heat than a nuclear weapon going to do? Nothing to the righteous. We don't.
And their hurtful works are fulfilled.
The hurtful works of the Canadians are fulfilled. They've performed hurtful works against the First Nations. The Americans have performed hurtful works against the Native American Indians. Wounded Knee was on December 29th. To the First Nations that celebrate Christmas, right after Christmas, the slave master came and massacred 200 Native American Indians at Wounded Knee. I didn't know Wounded Knee happened right after Christmas. I thought it was the happiest time of the year, Malakia.
Right.
Surely it wasn't a time to murder Native Indians. Men, women, and children. Yeah, it was. Because the happiest time of the year to them is when they can murder. And murder who? None other than the Native Americans. The Negro and Latinos. Read on.
God. Therefore, says the Most High, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit.
I will no more hold my tongue as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Canada commits profane wickedness by saying sexual deviancy, saying gays. They're practicing an alternative lifestyle. All right? They've committed a great iniquity, great wickedness by pushing weed to the Negro in Montreal and in Toronto. Continue reading.
God. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves.
See, the Lord isn't going to let this shindig go on anymore of homosexuality, rape, child molestation, etc. Huh? Yeah, go ahead. Hold that.
Okay.
The Lord isn't going to let this go on. All right? Let's read on. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. The souls of the just, they complain continually. Who are the just? The First Nations, they're just. They're upright people. They don't blow up airports and kill themselves and wage jihad. They sit quietly and die in the reserves, in the bands. The Negro in Toronto doesn't wage war against Canada. They sit quietly and they rot in Regent Park, in Jane and Finch, in Scarborough, in Little Burgundy, in Laval, in Ottawa, Gatineau, Vancouver, and all across the 4 corners of the earth where the Israelites are. We're the most peaceful people on the earth. The innocent and righteous blood cries to the Most High. The blood of the First Nations cries to Him. And the Most High is going to answer all of the First Nations, the Native Indians that they have murdered. And there was a lot of Native Indians. There's bloodshed that's coming on this earth that will never be seen again. Ever. There's never going to be a time again in history when the number of people die that are about to die on this earth. Never. Read on.
Verse 7. Enough of that.
2nd Esdras, chapter 15, and verse 9.
Verse 9. And therefore, says the Most High, I will surely avenge them.
He will do what?
I will surely avenge them.
See, he's gonna avenge them.
And receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
And receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Every drop of blood spilled by the First Nations, it will be answered, man. It's going to be answered. The First Nations that are dead, the Most High didn't forget about them. Canada's littered with the bones of the First Nations. Innocent men and women that were murdered.
Right.
And no one answered for them. A whole committee called the United Nations set about to establish human rights. And they're not involved in the rights of the First Nations in Canada. But guess what? God is. The Lord is, and he's about to answer it. First Nations, you don't believe us? Go turn on CNN. You see, they ready to light the Middle East up like a firecracker. For you. For your ancestors. For your father that stewed in a residential school. Your mother that died in the residential school. Buried in the floorboards. Most High is going to get his answer, and it is going to be gory. Rated R. Okay, the events that are about to proceed on the earth will be rated R. Okay, matter of fact, they're going to be unrated. Remember that horror movie that was so bad it was unrated? The events that are about to go on the earth will be unrated, Negro, Latino, Native American, Indian, and he's doing it. The Most High is bringing it on this earth because what was done to you was horrible, atrocious, and the Most High is just. First Nations, read on.
Verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter.
See, First Nations are led as a flock to the slaughter. Here's some meth. You sad? Sad? Here's some meth. When they could have gave jobs to the First Nations in Calgary, right. Employment, drug counseling, better programs, more housing. The United States sends $30 billion in aid a year to Israel. Okay? A country the size of the GTA. Okay? From Hamilton all the way up to Pickering, that's about the size of Israel. They get $30 billion a year. Go look it up. You mean to tell me they couldn't give more housing to the First Nations? Give me a break. And when you go to shop in Michael's, they don't even give you the dignity of being a customer. You got to be racially profiled in there. The Lord's tired of it. Read on.
I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
He's not going to suffer them to dwell in Guantanamo South. He's not going to suffer them to dwell into Toronto Housing Authority, THA, right? He's not going to allow them to stew in the projects. He's going to save us, man. World War III is the salvation of the Negro, Latino, Native American, Indian, but the unfaithful, they're going to die in their unfaithfulness. Get me Ezekiel 38th chapter. World War III chapter right here. All right? We're going to go into it. Ezekiel 38.
31?
Yep, start me from the top. If you have questions, type them in. Sign in. If you don't have your name yet, sign in. Go ahead. Tell me,
Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. Mm-hmm. And the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God in the land of Mogog.
Set thy face against who?
God in the land of Mogog.
Set thy face against God and the land of Magog. Who are Gog today? Gog, at one time, they were a Japhetic people, so-called Polynesians. Gog, when you look at a Genesis chapter 10 map, Gog and Magog settled in what is now known as Russia. All right? The people of Gog and Magog today are the Russians. That's why it says the land of Magog. You heard that? First Nations, Negro, land of Magog. The land of Magog is Russia. Read on.
The chief prince of Meshech.
Of what?
The chief prince of Meshech.
The chief prince of Meshech. Okay? Meshech is now known as Moscow. You can go and look it up. Meshech is the ancient name for Moscow. Who do you hear about in the news? Russia. Who do you hear about building up their military? Russia. Who do you hear about meddling in the American elections? Russia. This buildup is leading to the climactic ending of Russia versus America. Two, brawlers in the world. The biggest bullies on the block are about to meet. Read on.
And the Tubal and the prophecies against him.
Right, Tubal, that region. All right, it was at one time known as the Soviet Union. Continue.
And say thus, says the Most High Power, Behold, I am against thee, O God, and the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal.
The Lord's against the Russians, the Soviets. Keep reading.
Verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws.
See, for years, Russia didn't want the smoke. Russia didn't want any cancer. All right, they didn't want beef. They've been vegans for a little too long, Malakia. They've been vegans for a little too long. It's about time they get into some beef, to some steak, Ruth Chris style, okay? Medium well, all right? They're going to get into more beef than a Texas slaughterhouse, so you can understand. But for years, they didn't want it. They didn't want it, but the Lord is turning them back. Like they're a fish swimming through water, trying to get away from the fisherman. The Lord's the fisherman. He's got his bait and switch. You know what that bait and switch was? Iran. Okay? He got a bait and switch. Yeah, pull him in. He's reeling Russia back. Now Russia's getting reeled back. Now you got Russia, China, and Iran performing military exercises at the same time. In unison. Okay? In unison. With more communism than a Karl Marx meeting. All right? That's what's going on now. He's turning Meshchek, Moscow, Russia back. Turning them back. If America steps in this thing in full might and power, Russia can't just sit and watch them take over the Middle East. Read on.
God. And say, thus said the Lord, O God, behold, I'm against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal.
Keep reading.
I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And I will bring thee forth, and all thy army horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of manner, of armor, even a great company with bucklers.
So he's bringing a great company. World war. A great company of men. Are they going to have cotton candy? Are they going to have some fresh boiled Montreal bagels? What are they going to bring to this party? Read on.
Bucklers and shields.
Bucklers and shields. What do you do with bucklers? Do you kiss somebody? Do you comb your hair with a buckler? Do you pick your beard with a buckler? Do you brush your teeth with a buckler? No, you use it to go to war. Shield, to protect yourself. Go ahead.
With bucklers and shields.
Bucklers and shields. Read on.
All of them handling swords.
All of them handling swords. What's a modern day sword? A gun. Read on.
Persia.
Who? Whoa. What?
Persia.
Who? Persia. Who is Persia known as today? Iran. The escalation of Iran in America is a biblical prophecy. Iran is going to step into the fray in a hot second. Iran is going to war, okay, in this world war, the third world war, the last war, okay? After this, the scriptures say, they shall beat their weapons into plowshares, and they will learn war no more.
Right.
This is it. They said World War I was the war to end all wars.
Right.
World War III is the war to end all wars. Read on.
Verse 5. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them.
Persia. The Iranians, they call themselves Persia. Go look it up. Before they called themselves Iran, they were called Persia, with a lineage going all the way back to Cyrus and them, Xerxes, etc. Libya. You heard of Libya. They didn't forget that you sodomized Gaddafi. There's rumors before they killed him, they shoved a broomstick, so far up his rear end, he was eating wood for lunch and dinner.
Wow.
All right? Did horrible things to him before he died. Do you think his supporters forgot about that? No. Libya is going to hop into the fray. Keep reading.
Persia, Ethiopia, Libya.
Ethiopia, Somalia, Boko Haram. You've heard of them before? Aren't they fighting right now in Africa? Continue.
Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them.
Mm-hmm. With them. With Magog. Go ahead.
All of them with shield and helmets.
All of them with shields and helmets. Doesn't sound like they're going to have a knitting party. Read on.
Gomer and all his bands.
Gomer settled in land known as France. Okay, the people living in Gomer, living in France today are Edomites. The French, aren't they in the mix? Didn't they have comments about the killing of Qasim Soleimani? Read on.
Gomer and all of his bands.
Mm-hmm.
The house of Togarmah.
House of who?
Togarmah.
Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Heard of him? The prime minister, the president of Turkey. Togarmah is the ancient name of Turkey. All right? Turkey's going to get into the mix. You've seen Turkey and Israel fight. Okay? This chapter, this doesn't need explaining anymore. You want to break down for Ezekiel 38? Go to CNN. Go turn on CNN, turn on the news, and you'll see Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Iran, Libya, Turkey. Read on.
Child of God. Enough the north quarters and all his bands.
All out of the north corners. Kurdistan, you've heard of the Kurdish fighters, rear their ugly head, etc. Read on.
And many people with them.
And many people with them. Go ahead.
And people, lucky. But be thou prepared for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee.
Be prepared. Get ready. Aren't they doing drills right now? This doesn't need explaining. Go check the news. You'll see Russia, China, and Iran doing drills. Magog, Persia, and all their company with them, China, etc. Be thou prepared. Do your military drills. The Most High is setting this up. Read on.
And be thou a guard unto them.
Be a guard unto them, Russia. Defend Iran. Defend Libya. Defend Ethiopia. China. Don't you hear about China all up and through Africa? They're going to defend those Africans. They're going to defend each other. And they're not going to put up with America's bullying anymore. Okay? We're not in support for any of these nations. We're in support of the nation of Israel, the nation that the one you call Christ will set up. All right? We're explaining to you the things that will shortly come to pass. Keep reading.
Verse 8.
Drop that. Get me, drop down to verse 18.
Verse 18.
We're in the same chapter, Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. Keep reading.
And it shall come to pass at the same time when God shall come against the land of Israel, says the Most High.
When God comes up against the land of Israel, when he comes to invade Israel, if you read up at verse 13, it says that Gog and Magog, or Gog, they'll go into Sheba and Dedan. Sheba and Dedan are talking about Saudi Arabia. Is Sheba? Matter of fact, make sure I don't get this wrong. Bear with me 1 second. Sheba is Yemen, and Dedan is Saudi Arabia. They're going to invade Saudi Arabia. When Russia comes against the Israelis, the land of Israel in the Middle East there, when he comes and invades, what's going to happen?
The Lord God, Slacky, and it shall come to pass at the same time when God shall come against the land of Israel.
Meaning when he comes and steps into the Middle East, read on.
Said the Most High, that my fury shall come upon in my face.
His fury is going to come up in his face. Meaning, I'm going to be finished. I'm going to be done with this. Finished with this world. He's going to be in his rage, his anger is going to come up to his face. You're about to see the Lord, the Most High's anger on this earth, and it's not going to be pretty. Read on.
Right. Verse 19. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken.
In my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Keep reading.
Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel.
There shall be a what?
A great shaking in the land of Israel.
There shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel. There will be a great shaking in the land of Israel. Keep reading.
So that the fishes of the sea.
So that the fishes of the sea, fishes, because there are different species of fish. Go ahead.
And the fowls of heaven.
The fowls of heaven, the birds. Go ahead.
And the beasts of the field.
Beasts of the field, cows, camel, right? Sheep, deer, wildebeest. Go ahead.
And all creeping things.
Creeping things. Rats, mice, spiders, crickets, ants. Go ahead.
That creep upon the earth.
That creep upon the earth. Continue.
And all the men that are upon the face of the earth.
And the men that are upon the face of the earth. Go ahead.
Shall shake at my presence.
Shall do what?
Shake at my presence.
They'll shake at his presence. Okay? You don't get shaking from making cupcakes. They're not going to be down there in the Middle East making cupcakes, planting flowers. They're going to be, why will there be shaking? Because they'll be down there shooting conventional weapons and nuclear weapons. That's the Lord's anger. It's going to be summed up in the war that is coming. The Third World War. Britain just sent a few warships over to the Middle East to protect their tankers. You're about to have war break out all over this earth. And the Most High is bringing it to pass. Keep reading.
Come. So that the fishes of the sea, and of the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the field, and all the creeping things that creep upon the earth, and all the men that are upon the face of the earth, shall shake at my presence.
All right, they shake from missile fire.
At my presence.
All right, that's what it'll be shaking from, and from the appearance of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, when you call Christ.
Right.
Okay, they're going to tear that ozone layer in half and come down and smack the teeth out of the armies of this earth. He's going to smack the teeth out of America, smack the teeth out of the Israelis, smack the teeth out of the Iranians, out of the North Koreans, out of ISIS, Boko Haram, and all armies of the earth will be defeated, crushed, and put into slavery.
Right.
All right? And put on trial for their crimes against the blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, and the Most High is bringing it to pass. Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, and woman, change your life. Keep the commandments of the Most High. Let me know when you're done with verse 20.
Come. And the mountain shall be thrown down.
The mountain shall be thrown down from missile fire, from death and destruction. Go ahead.
And the steep places shall fall.
The steep places shall fall.
And every wall shall fall to the ground.
Every wall shall fall down. All right? So that's what's going to happen. Questions, type your questions in. If not, go to Isaiah 47 and 8.
Okay, next one.
Yeah, go ahead. Unlock it. Can you come up and read real quick? You know, Isaiah 47 and 8. Questions, type them in. Questions, type your questions in. I posted the sign out link. You don't have your Hebrew name? Check out the sign in, sign out link. All right? Fill it out.
So Isaiah, what's that?
Isaiah 47 and 8, please. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 47, verse 8.
Read.
Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures.
Hear now this, thou that are given to pleasures. Canada is given to pleasure.
Right.
America is given to pleasure. All right? These nations are given to pleasure. Go ahead.
Come.
Whoever asked the question, what is this? You're watching the prophets of God at work.
Right.
You're prophesying the death and destruction and downfall of Canada, of America, by the hand of God.
Damn
okay,
right.
and if you are Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian, it would behoove you to tune in, sit down, and take notes. Because until this day, all we knew about was lies, getting high, and satisfying our lusts. We are telling you about World War III, which is coming, and how to survive it.
Right.
Read. Go ahead.
It behoove you to sit down, take notes, and shut up. Stop commenting. If you're not in class, you're not going to teach a class, don't try to teach in the comments. Just shut up and take notes.
Just go ahead, be quiet. Settle down. All right? Take notes. I know there are no women shaking their behind. There are no thongs.
Right.
No weed. All right? But take notes. Read.
Con. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures.
Go ahead.
That dwellest carelessly.
Dwellest carelessly. America dwells carelessly. Canada dwells carelessly. Continue reading.
That sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me.
I am, and none else beside me. Go ahead. That's what America thinks. America's about to run into a whole host of problems in the Middle East.
Right. I shall not sit as a widow.
He said he won't sit as a widow. Keep reading.
Con. Neither shall I know the loss of children.
Neither will he know the loss of children. Read on.
But these two things shall come to pass, shall come to thee in a moment and one day.
These things will come to them in a moment and one day. Keep reading.
Con. The loss of children.
Loss of children. Your children are going to go and die in the Middle East.
Right.
Negro, Latino, Native American Indian, do not sign your children up for the military. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to send them to go die, get killed by who? Some Iranian? Some cat work behind the 7-Eleven. He goes to the Middle East, does some push-ups, and he's going to kill our kids? No. When we're getting killed by everybody else. No. We need to stay here in these countries and build ourselves up. All right? And stop being evil monsters to each other. Read on.
Khan. The loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries.
The loss of children and widowhood is coming for the multitude of their sorceries. New Year's Eve is a damn sorcery. All right? Christmas is a form of sorcery, witchcraft. It's a lie. All right? And all their drugs, marijuana, meth, etc., they're going to be destroyed for that. Is that at the end of verse 10?
Yeah, just it was 9.
Oh, is that the end of verse 9?
A little bit more.
Finish it.
And for the great abundance of thine enchantment.
Great abundance of their enchantments. Canada is an enchanting place, which is why many people that tune in don't know what the hell this is.
Right.
They've never seen anything real before. They've never seen the truth before. They're used to lies and fairy tales, all right, and children's stories. Read Revelation 17 and 9, all right?
Revelation chapter 17 verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. 7
heads are the 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. The woman, the great whore, is America, all right? And she sits on 7 mountains, seven strong nations. Today they're known as the EU. All right, the 7 heads and the 10 horns. EU are the 10 common markets. The 7 heads are Italy, France, Spain, Germany, Russia. I forget France. France, and one more, Portugal. Those are the 7 heads. All right. The 10 horns are the 10 smaller countries that come out of it. United States, Australia. Smaller meaning they came later. United States, Australia, Scotland, Switzerland, Ireland. Who else? Belgium, Luxembourg, the Netherlands or Holland, Austria. Read on.
Khan. Verse 10. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen.
7 kings. 5 kings fell. The 5 kings that fell were Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, and Italy. They all had their turn to rule the earth. Spain ruled it back in 1492. Remember 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue? They ruled. Portugal ruled when they set up Brazil. All right? Italy ruled for a small period of time. Germany ruled for a small period of time back in the 40s. All right? 5 kings fell. Read on.
And the other is not yet to come.
One king is. Who is that king that is? That horn that is? England. England still runs the earth. The British Empire is still strong through her daughter, America and Canada. One is, and one is not yet to come. Who is the one that is not yet to come? Russia.
Right.
Russia is building up. Shalom. Russia is not yet to come, but they're coming. All right? And gaining strength, and they'll be strengthened by this little excursion with Iran. Read on.
Khan. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space.
Right, Russia's going to continue a short space. They're going to get powerful. Okay, Soviet Union is coming back. They're going to re-establish their allegiances with Russia with their Eastern Bloc countries, and they're going to get back in power. Read on.
Khan. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th.
Oh, and is of the 7th. America is the beast that was and is not. All right? Meaning it was the Roman Empire, but it's not the Roman Empire. It's now called America. All right? And it's of the 7. That's a precept for what? The American Revolution.
Right.
They're of the 7. Who was one of the 7? England. America was of England. Unlike Canada, they broke free from English colonial rule. All right? That's what that's talking about. Read on.
Khan. And is the 7th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition.
And they do what?
Goeth into perdition.
Yeah, America's going to be destroyed.
Right.
All right? Is that the end of verse 11? Go to 2 Peter 3 and 10.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, and the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise.
The heavens shall pass away with a great noise. These kingdoms are going to fall with a great noise. All right? Going to be destroyed with a great noise. Go ahead.
Come. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
The elements, they shall melt with fervent heat. All right? At the detonation of a nuclear weapon, it produces temperatures in excess of 1 million degrees in a certain area around it.
Right.
1 million degrees. That's pretty hot, okay? That's hotter than your toaster oven. Hotter than your microwave. Fervent heat. How do you get fervent heat? You get fervent heat from a thermonuclear missile, which will be detonated here on this earth. That's how these kingdoms are going to fall. That's when they're going to be destroyed. Is that science fiction? No. I would go turn on CNN. I would go check out the types of nuclear weapons that Russia has, faster than the speed of sound, called the Sarmat, aka Satan 2. Get that? They named their missiles Satan. Okay? Because the Europeans are after the way of Satan.
Right.
Okay? That's their God. That's who they get their ideas from. Which is why everything they develop is for defense. It's to kill everyone. Yeah, that's it. The Sarmat. All right? That'll finish Texas. 16 nuclear warheads. They can be deployed at different locations. The thing blows up midair, and it has 16 nuclear warheads that can go to 16 different areas. One direct strike would destroy Texas. Would destroy Ontario. And Ontario would be gone. Quebec would be gone. It would destroy most of Ontario. It would destroy Quebec. We go ahead and show them that. Sarmat 2. This is real stupid. Go ahead and check this. Look at how stupid that is. That's just so dumb. Look at that. That's coming to a city near you. Okay? And blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians that are getting high, they're not going to live through that. All right? Officer Adi, you want to break down for 2nd Ezra 15 and 41? You need to be more specific. I need to know what specifically you have a question about, or is it just a general breakdown? All right? 2 Peter 3 and 10. Go ahead.
Oh God, sir. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10.
Come on.
But the day of the Most High will come as a thief in the night.
Come as a thief in the night. You'll be on YouTube laughing. You guys are dumb. Lighting a blunt, right? Having sex with some whore. Bleep, bleep, bleep. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. Get off the whore and get to the nearest bomb shelter immediately. You get my point? The day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. Keep reading.
And the which the heavens shall pass.
Pass. Go ahead.
Away with a great noise.
Great noise. Crack. Rent. They're going to tear up the atmosphere. Go ahead.
And the elements shall melt.
The elements shall melt. It's going to be so hot, it's like the elements are melting. Go ahead.
With fervent heat.
Fervent heat. High heat. Go ahead.
The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
The earth and the works therein shall be burnt up. Medicinal marijuana shops, brothels, whorehouses, trap houses, the White House will be burnt up. The works of this world will be burnt up. Keep reading.
Verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be?
What manner of persons ought we to be? Seeing that the whorehouse is going to be destroyed, the weed house is going to be destroyed, what manner of people ought we to be? How should we conduct ourselves, seeing all this is going to be wiped away? Should we behave like the thing that's going to be destroyed? Should we behave as a people that will die? Should we behave like the societies that will be wiped away, like a whiteboard? Should we behave like that? Should we have conversations like that? No. We should behave like the people that will live in the world that is to come. What world is to come? Jacob's world is to come. Read on.
And all holy conversation and godliness.
And godliness, righteousness. Not talking about whore you're going to have sex with. Not talking about, other nonsense. Go ahead.
Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Most High.
Looking for and hastening the coming of the day of the Most High. Hastening the coming of the day of the Most High. Are you hastening it on YouTube? Are you bringing forth the end of this world and the beginning of the new world? Are you hastening the coming of the day of the Lord, the one you call Jesus Christ, a black man? Okay, Yahushua in the Hebrew. We're hastening it in here at the ISUPK. I don't know about you. Bringing in brothers and sisters all over Canada. The more brothers and sisters we bring into Canada, the more the Lord takes out of this world. And the more he brings it down and down and down and into a warlike posture. We're hastening it by bringing blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians to the truth. Keep reading.
Wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
All right, the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nuclear war culminated with the coming of Christ. That's the day of the Most High. All right, keep reading.
Verse 13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth.
We, according to his promise, we're looking for new heavens. We're looking for a new rulership. We're not conducting ourselves like we think Canada is going to rule forever. We don't walk into brothels and strip clubs and go to the recreational weed shop. Because that's of the old heaven. Okay, the old rulers, Canada, America. We're looking for a new heaven. A new set of rulers. Read on.
Wherein dwelleth righteousness.
Wherein dwelleth righteousness. Righteousness is going to be in the world to come. So we know brothels and strip clubs and whorehouses and recreational marijuana use. None of that nonsense. Read on.
Well, it does it.
Yeah, let me read. Where were you at?
Was it wherefore? 14.
Oh yeah, I only wanted you to read the verse 13 anyway. All right, if you have questions, type them in. Like, share, subscribe to ISBK Canada. All right. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to go to Zechariah 14 and 12, all right? If you have questions, type them in. Questions, type them in, all right? Zechariah 14 and 12, please.
Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Most High will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem.
This is the plague that the Most High will use to fight all the people that fought against Israel. Iran fought against the Israelites, had us in slavery. Okay? The Americans fought against Israel, had us in slavery, and murdered the First Nations. Canada, the same thing. This is the plague that the Lord's going to send on all these nations. Read on.
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
Their what?
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand on their feet. Go ahead.
And their eyes shall consume away in their holes.
And their eyes shall consume away in their holes. Keep reading.
And their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
And their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. How does that happen? How does your tongue consume away in your mouth, your eyes consume, burn away in your head? What would cause those things to happen? A thermonuclear weapon. Okay? A nuclear bomb goes off within a certain radius, everyone within that radius is getting burnt up while they stand. Remember the scene in not Transformers, Terminator?
Yeah,
I'm gonna share that with the viewers. Show you the scripture in action. Go ahead, Tamayam.
Tomorrow when Sarah Connor was getting burned up standing around.
Yeah, she had a dream. She's like, no, she was trying to stop everyone.
Concert.
I'm gonna show you that scene real quick. All right, bear with me 1 second. It's gonna take a second. Share the screen. All right. Hopefully everyone can see that. I'm going to turn the volume up. Hopefully you can hear it.
Just a truck. What? Parked it right there. What did I tell you, boys? Tonight we eat like kids. Brake. Hit the brake.
Bear with me 1 second. You'll pass this commercial.
What? There's a half a cheesesteak back there. Geico Sequels. The savings keep on going.
Gosh, she's dreaming, and then she wakes up like she's somewhere in California, and this is it. Yeah, so that's Zechariah 14 and 12. You ever need to see it? All right. Oops. Grab me 1 second. That's Zechariah 14 and 12. All right. That's what actually scientifically happens when you are the victim of a nuclear strike. You burn while you stand up. Tongue consumes out of your eyes. Your eyes burn out of your head. That's the plague that's coming right there. Thermonuclear war. Thus saith the Most High. He's bringing them on the earth. You don't believe us? Go ahead and check out the Sarmat and different nuclear weapons, the Minuteman and other nuclear weapons that these nations have. Go ahead, tell me.
It's like I said, I made that's the lake of fire.
Yeah, and America is the lake of fire. All right. Get me 2 Esdras 7:43. Yeah, the Apocrypha. All right, check the YouTube feed. Any questions? All right, you guys are stupid. Brother, Russia and that you might are running everything right now. They're not two separate people. Benaji, you need to be more specific. I'm not sure what you're saying here. It's not intelligible. I'm going to retype your comment if you're trying to say something about what we said earlier. Get 2 Esdras 7 and 43.
I got sir.
Go ahead.
2 Esdras, chapter 7, verse 43.
Uh-huh.
But the day of doom shall be the end of this time.
Now, you saw it shown in that movie, The Terminator. Okay, Terminator 2 from 1991. The day of doom shall be the end of this present time. Go ahead.
And the beginning of the immortality for to come.
And the beginning of the immortality for to come. What is the immortality? Israel being the world without end. All right? Society that will rule forever indefinitely. There's going to be no resurrection, no rebellion. There's going to be no mutiny. There's going to be no treason. None of that. The immortality to come. The nation of Israel. Go ahead.
Wherein corruption is past.
Corruption is past. You see governments around the world are corrupt. The government that you're under is corrupt. Canada, the United States. They've been indicted on corruption many times. The president of the United States is about to go to jail. The president of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, was about to go to jail. This little shindig over here in Iran helps him out. Because now when Iran attacks Israel, and they probably are going to, then, I can't go to jail because I'm sitting president in war. And he's going to be kept out of jail. Okay? Corruption is what you live with on a day-to-day basis. That we think is normal. It's not. Read on.
Intemperance is at an end.
Intemperance. Not being able to control yourself. Not being able to look at a plant and just use it as a plant. You know what I mean? The marijuana is a plant. Ecstasy comes from the root of the sassafras tree over in Cambodia. Methamphetamine, I believe it also comes from a root that they boil down and dilute to remove the compounds within it and turn it into crystalline form or crystal meth. Marijuana, it's just a plant, man. Why can't you just let it be there? Alcohol was made to be drunken moderately, not for you to go and become a drunk and alcoholic on. Okay? Marijuana, opium. Opium has a purpose as painkillers. Why don't you use it for pain? Okay? And not to escape reality, which is witchcraft, which is drug abuse.
Right.
Okay? Those days are coming to an end. Read on.
Infidelity.
Infidelity. Not being able to stay honorable. Not being disloyal. Many women in Canada are disloyal to their husband and to their race. Men in Canada, First Nations men, disloyal. Going to say the Bible is made up. Just disloyal. We don't understand what we're kicking against. All right? When we weren't taught the Bible in the residential schools, we were enslaved in the residential schools. All right? Read on.
Infidelity is cut off.
Infidelity is cut off. There's a day coming when men are going to stand up as men, and they're going to stand for their race. You're not going to have any more Steve Harveys, T.D. Jakes. Who is that cat that does this up in the White House? You know what I'm talking? Ben Carson, old flipper. Okay, he keeps his hands up here because he thinks it slows down his brain waves. Meanwhile, he is enslaving, making sure that more black people go homeless in the United States. He's the head of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD.
Damn.
Making Negroes in some housing shelters sleep in a wooden chair. Go look it up. He took beds out of homeless shelters. So now if you don't have a house, you have a nice chair for the night. Might as well go sleep on a park bench, but you can't do that because it's illegal in the United States in many places to sleep on a bench. Read on.
Righteousness is grown.
Righteousness will be grown. Right now, wickedness is grown. Oh, you haven't been a whore? You didn't have sex with him? Why not? Just try it. I remember brothers used to say this in the world. Well, if you don't have sex with her before you marry her, how are you going to know what it's like? You ever heard that before? How are you going to know what it's like? You got to test drive the car. You got to test the car before you drive it. No, you don't. I know what a car is. I've been in a car. You know what a car is. You know it drives, goes vroom. You don't need to test a woman out. You don't need to test a man out before you marry him and then find out you didn't like it because the sex was bad and go find another man. That's not biblical. Okay? If the sex is bad, chalk it up. You understand? Go to Victoria's Secret, get some whipped cream, something. KY jelly, something. Okay? And make it happen. Make it work. All right? Righteousness will be grown up. Pork won't be the other white meat. Pork won't be available after World War III. Shrimp won't be available after World War III. Whores won't be available. You won't be able to get one. You won't be able to get one. The righteous daughters, you will be able to get. And these other nations too, they're going to follow suit. They won't have whores in Hindu temples and human trafficking rings, child molestation rings, all this other nonsense. Africans won't be enslaving other Africans and all that other nonsense. East Indians won't be murdering other East Indians. That's going to be cut off. Read on.
And truth is sprung up.
The truth will be sprung up. The truth will be flourishing on this earth. Keep going.
Verse 45. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that have gotten the victory.
See, you won't be able to oppress him that gotten the victory. We're on the victory. All right? We are the ones that are gotten the victory. The First Nations, God said they'll be victorious. Of Gad, he said, a troop overcome him, will overcome him, or a troop overcame him, but he will overcome in the last. The First Nations will come out of their state of slumber, their state of deep sleep, and of defeat. Native Americans are defeated. This is why they say, this is one of the main reasons to this sister's question, why they don't accept the Bible. The curse, one of the main characteristics of the Native American is to be defeated. The Bible was made up. Bible was made up. They taught us that in the residential schools. Leave me alone. He doesn't want to be a winner. That's the problem with many Native Americans. Suicide rate's so high, specifically amongst the Native Americans, because they have been overcome. The Bible is what allows us to break that, to break the carnality of us, of each tribe. Every tribe has their carnality. All right? The Gad is being overcome. With Judah, it's just insane lust. Insane lust for power, drugs. Forget about women. That's in the Bible. David had an insane lust for women. Solomon, forget about it. An insane lust for women. All right? And power and money and anger. All right? Not anger, impulse. Levi and Simeon, their anger. All right? Reuben, being unstable, unsure. All right? Not successful. Asher, their love of pleasure and decadence and fun. Got that right? Brazil, Carnival, love of having fun and being sweet and not going to war with anyone. Okay? Which is in the Bible about Asher. All right? We're going to overcome these things. And righteousness will grow up. Go ahead.
Verse 45. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that have gotten the victory.
They're not going to oppress us anymore. We're going to get the victory. First Nations will get the victory, brother. You're going to be victorious. You're going to win over the people that put you in residential schools. Read on.
Verse 46. I answered then and said, this is my first and last saying.
Well, what verse is this?
Verse 46.
All right, drop that. Go to we already read Isaiah 26 and 20. Go to Joel, the 3rd chapter. All right? Brothers, you're supposed to have your heads uncovered when the scriptures come out. Stop trying to be cool. Go ahead and tilt your head down. Hello? Did it numero uno. His head is uncovered. The crown of the head. Can we get the scripture real quick? Crown of the head.
Sir.
Let's get the crown.
1 Corinthians 11:3.
1 Corinthians 11:3. We're wrong, Officer Thumbmayum. We've been teaching the Bible for half a century, longer than he has existed. He or she has existed. But we don't know what we're doing. Go ahead and we'll show them the scripture we've read for 50 years about leaving the crown of your head uncovered. All right, the crown of my head, there's a hole here. As you can see, hair. This is uncovered. The crown of the head. Okay? If you can't have anything on your head, did it, then you can't wear a crown. I don't know if you want a crown, did it? But I want a crown that Christ is going to have on his head. Did it? Christ has many crowns on his head.
Right.
That's in Revelations. If we studied and understood the Bible. So if we can't have our heads, or if we can't have anything on our heads, then you can't wear a crown. I want a crown. Also, Thumbmayum, brother to the right of me, wants his crown. The First Nations in Canada, they want their crown, Jack. Haitians, so-called Levites, they want their crown. And we're going to get it. Lord willing. Read the scripture.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying having his head covered, dishonor of his head.
Dishonors his head. Now I want the scripture about the crown. This just says you have to have your head uncovered, which is what he's trying. He or she thinks that our heads are uncovered. But give me crown.
Okay, crown.
No, give me when Christ had many crowns. You won't want to look that up.
Okay, come down, sir.
All right, we're going to get you the scripture. To sum up your what you said, which is incorrect, the crown of your head can be uncovered, which is why men can have crowns. All right, I'm going to get it now for you real quick, if you're even still on. All right.
Where's it?
Hold on. Revelation 19 and 12.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns.
Any what?
And on his head were many crowns.
Many crowns. It sounds like he has something on his head. Okay? Reading comprehension. Let's get it in Canada. On his head, he had many crowns. So Christ, this is talking about Christ. His eyes were as a flame of fire. This is a prophecy about him in Genesis, the 49th chapter, meaning his eyes will be red with wine. Christ liked to drink wine. He wasn't a drunk, but he liked to drink wine. Right. And when he comes, he's going to get crowns on his head. And he deserves to have crowns on his head. Okay? Is he going to have crowns on his head? His head's going to be covered, right? With a crown. What does a crown leave? I'm going to tell your head again for the viewers. The crown leaves the crown uncovered. All right? When this spot starts to get bald, they say your crown is balding. The crown of your head. The crown of our head is uncovered. And a ruler, a man that wants to rule, will have a crown on his head. All right? So their heads will be covered, but the crown of their head will be uncovered. All right? So our heads are not covered in the sense that we are adhering to the Bible in 1 Corinthians 11 chapter. Enough on that. Taking back to where we were.
God, sir.
Joel 3. World War 3. Go ahead.
Joel 3?
Yeah.
God. Verse 1.
Go ahead.
Joel chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
You see, the Most High is going to bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Meaning what? The Lord's going to bring it up. God's going to bring up the Indian residential schools. Hold on. You did what? What happened here? He's going to bring up the slavery in Haiti, in the West Indian Islands, in America. He's going to bring it up. Why? Because Canada doesn't bring up what happened to the First Nations. What we did was horrible. We are sorry. When they give the Jewish man $30 billion a year in aid, what do they have for the Native American Indians? A couple houses in the middle of nowhere? Read on.
Verse 2. I will also gather all nations.
He was going to gather all nations are going to be brought together. Read on.
And will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Where's the valley of Jehoshaphat? The Middle East. The valley of decision. Okay? Chiefly, it's a land in or around southern Israel. All right? Go ahead.
And will plead with them. Therefore, my people. And will plead with them. Therefore, my people.
The Lord's going to plead with them. How does the Lord plead with you? With blood and guts and death and destruction. Go ask Sodom and Gomorrah. Go ask Jerusalem in 70 AD. That's how the Most High pleads with people. And he's going to plead with these heathens. He's going to put them to death. He's leading them into the Middle East to fight and kill each other for his people Israel. Every nation on this earth benefited from the destruction of the so-called First Nations. Everyone.
Right.
Canada, America, and everyone that they trade with. South Africa shipped guns, provided the logistics for the Guatemalan Civil War. The Guatemalan Civil War ended hundreds of thousands of Guatemalan lives. You can thank the South Africans for helping get the guns there so they could kill each other, our brothers in Guatemala, in Central America, the natives of Central America. South Africans supported that. They got to pay for that. Canada has to pay. America has to pay by the hand of the Most High. And he's leading all nations together to destroy them. Go ahead.
And will plead with them, therefore my people, and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people.
One second. So can we apply Zephaniah 1 and 4 and 5 to use what's going on today and the words to come? On Judah and all that. That's not a direct precept. That's talking about the Lord coming to kill Negroes worshiping, Christmas, New Year's, etc. The Baal is today known as the Christian church. That's the house of Baal. It's not really a precept for what's going on today. All right. But yeah, the Lord is going to destroy Christian pastors, and He's destroying Christians from this land. All right. Go ahead.
And Joel chapter 3, verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people.
They cast lots. Hey, 25 West Indian girls, Jamaica, can cook, 25 sold. West Indian girls sold a Montego Bay to Mr. Collins. Good sale, right? They did the same thing to the Native Americans up in Quebec. Thousands of them went into slavery in Quebec. Go ahead.
And have given a boy for a harlot.
Given for a harlot. Molested and abused our sons in the Indian residential schools. Read on.
And sold a girl for wine.
Sold a First Nations girl for pleasure. Many Native American women, when they were sold into slavery during the time of the 1800s in the United States, says good wench. Good to have sex with. 14 years old. You can go and look them up. All right? And that's what they would do. And they're doing it to this day. Why do you think there are thousands of missing Native Indian women? Okay? Like we said before, you're at war, First Nations. The only way to win is with righteousness. All right? Teaching your daughters the right way. Mothers and fathers how to raise their children up the right way. Read on.
That they might drink. Verse 4.
Truckers, MP, whoever you are, is this broadcast? This broadcast is the broadcast of God, the priests and prophets of the Most High. All right. We are bringing about the kingdom of heaven, which is going to destroy and break in pieces all kingdoms, all countries on this earth. All right. We support the government of Israel. The one you call Jesus Christ will set up. Jesus Christ is a black man. Okay. And he's coming to set up Native American Indians over their slave master, the Europeans. He's coming to set up Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians over all nations. That's what we're reading about. And he's going to send American sons, men and women, to die in the Middle East.
Right.
That's what the Lord's doing. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Yeah, and what have ye to do with me? O Tyre and Zidon?
What do you have to do with me, Tyre and Zidon? State of Israel. Go ahead.
And all the coast of Palestine.
Matter of fact, let's talk about that. The so-called Africans. Okay, many people want to join the Africans to Israel. Africans are not Israelites. Okay, you saw part 1 where we talked about the Ashanti, the Akan. We're going to bring out part 2 on the Lemba. That's another group they swear up and down that are Israelites. They're not. I'm trading in the Africans, and I'm going to get my Native Indian brothers, man. Native American Indians, they are the children of the Most High. The so-called Latinos. All right. Africans and black people are not related. You get up off that nonsense. I haven't seen one boat go up the St. Lawrence River. We are coming to get our Ashanti brothers that are in Montreal. Yeah, tumble. I didn't see. There's not one boat gone up the St. Lawrence River to come get their Haitian brothers. But we swear up and down they love us. We got Stockholm Syndrome, love of our oppressors. They don't care about you more than they care about dirt. All right? The Africans are not our damn people. The Native American Indians are. Go ahead.
God. Will ye render me a recompense?
Go ahead.
And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head?
See this so-called Negro, West Indian, Haitian? The Lord is going to bring recompense to the Africans. He's going to destroy them as well. They're the slave master just like the Europeans. Where are you at?
Verse 5 now, sir.
Can you skip? 1 second. Joel 3 and 9. Go ahead.
Joel chapter 3 verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles.
Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. There's some Gentiles listening. Europeans. What is this about? God damn it, where's the Bruce Springsteen? I wanted Billy Idol, not Billy Negro. Right? Some Gentiles listening. This is a message for you. Go ahead.
Prepare war.
Do what?
Prepare war.
Do what?
Prepare war.
Prepare war. Go get those push-ups in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love Marine Corps. Go get all that good jogging in, marching chants with the flag. Set up war. Get to the gun range, slave masters. Get to the gun range. Get your military exercises in. All right. Get your MREs ready because you're going to war. Declare. Set up war. Go ahead.
Wake up the mighty men.
Wake up the mighty men. Where is SEAL Team 6, Thamayam? I need SEAL Team 6 on deck in the Middle East. Where are your mighty men at? Your special forces, sharpshooters, your Marine snipers. Remember that movie, American Sniper? Where is the American sniper? Wake him up. Call him up. Put him back on duty. Read on.
Let all the men of war draw near.
Let all the men of war draw near. All your school shooters, was that Dylan Klebold? They need to get Dylan Klebold in the Marines. These school shooters, these Edomites you got as school shooters, sign them up for the military. Let them go and school shoot Iran. Let them go and take out all that young European rage, that murderous spirit they have. Let them go and do that in the Middle East, in Iran. That's what they should do if they cared about their people in school. Okay? They would let them go and kill over in the Middle East, which is why they have to keep having wars and setting up wars. That's their spirit. Okay? Dylan Klebold, Eric Harris, that's what murdered the Native American Indians. You ask yourself, why would they massacre 200 Native American Indians at Wounded Knee? Because you got the grandfathers of Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris. They were over there in that area, right? That happened in Colorado, Columbine. Columbine isn't too far from Wounded Knee. Okay? They wonder why these European kids are shooting up these schools, because it's in their nature. It's what they've been doing. Well, take those kids, get them ready for war. Put a nice suit on them, that uniform. Give them the flag. Give them some patriotism. Because the Lord's setting up war. Keep reading.
Let all the men of war draw near.
Let all the men of war draw near. Go ahead.
Let them come up.
Let them come. Let those good kung fu, kung fu sha muta. Let those Chinamen, those good fighting Koreans, let them come up with their martial arts, their way of the dragon. Let them come up and bring their kung fu to the Middle East to get smacked in the teeth by the Most High. Read on.
Beat your plowshares.
Beat your plowshares. Forget all this farming. They trying to bring up, what is it, sustainable energy? Are you kidding me? Make some more weapons, okay? More ammunition. Read on.
Beat your plowshares into swords.
Yeah, get ready for war. You better. You better get those silos holding corn and put missiles in them. Get ready for war, because the Most High is setting war on this earth. That's it on that. World War III is coming. The Most High is going to save blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians out of World War III. All right, during that time, the one you call Christ is going to return, and he's going to have the peaceable multitude with him, as it says in 2 Ezra, the 13th chapter. The peaceable multitude are the Israelites. All right. With that being said, we posted the sign-in link. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow us. Like us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. With that, we got class in Toronto, live in Toronto, Falstaff Community Center. Falstaff Community Center, Saturday, January 18th, 2020, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Join me, Officer Abund, live in the building. All right, we got Montreal as well. We got Western Canada coming up. All right, Western Canada coming up within the near future. All right, with that being said, with the ISUBK, the home of the truth, shalom.